Get it, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. I think we are going to have some military adventures. And I think it's going to be in the Marina Kingdom. I think it's going to be in the Marina Kingdom. The only people who are interested are Great Britain and France. And I think if Great Britain intervenes, then France will intervene. So I think I'm ready to do this. 26 battalions, but they're terrible battalions. We've got 2 commanders now. One of our commanders passed. So I think we can make this happen. So let's do it. Oh, 29 infamy. Nope. That's too much. It's too much. What about you? What about Dynam? Oh, Dynam's even more. Her. You know what? Maybe we'll just try. They still have a defensive pact with the Dutch East Indies. Like we did now. Gaza? Defensive pact with Majertine. Majertine is not particularly powerful either. Can't do it because our interest isn't there. Our interest is somewhere else. It's in this zone only. Interesting. How about you? You're already somebody's puppet. GPs of these countries are really, really low. Majertine is a tempting target. Vega is a very tempting target. But a lot of infamy to take over. What about Macron? Macron's got a good solid GDP. Sind? Same with Sind. $15 and 8. You know what? Let's get started with that. Get started with that. And we'll see what it looks like. What does your armed force look like? Nothing too much for me to be concerned with. And Macro, you're the same way. I assume... No, you have better artillery. But I should have the size advantage on Macron. So I think we might be able to just go ahead and do that. Steel is very expensive in the market, so that's going to need an expansion. We'll go ahead and build up steel in Kansai and Kyushu. And that means Kansai is going to need another railway. We'll give it 2 levels. And there's our interests activated. Revolution where? Bhutan. A small island off of Bhutan. Alright, well, I don't necessarily need to worry about that. So, who will potentially get involved if we try this? Great Britain, Russia, Kingdom of France, Austria, Italy. Oh, a lot of people have interests over here. What about Macron? A lot of people have interests over here, too. Hmm. Hmm. Central America is an option. There's Hawaii. You're a French Dominion. Well, can't grab that then. Well, maybe maybe we'll shoot for Macran and see what happens. So we have some countries who can sway. We could potentially sway France. I'm not concerned about either the Ottoman Empire or Russia getting involved in this because neither of those countries can station troops in Macran. So I'll bring France in if either of these two powers... Well, if Russia... So, well, maybe I even won't. I will need to start conscription. But maybe I can put a hold on that until I've gotten my... until my naval invasion's already going. Oh, Great Britain is going after Dynam. Ugh. Interesting. Alright, so how do I want to do this? Oh my goodness, Scandinavia got created, but they immediately had a military revolt. That's wild. I'm gonna wait, and we'll see, because Ottoman Empire is also willing to stand against Russia, but France is really the ideal. Macron backs down. Wonderful. And now they're our vassal. Great. King Qing sides with Dynam. We'll start improving relations with Macron so that they won't be rebellious anymore. Hey, now they're loyal. Wonderful. So now, this situation. China is aligning with Dynam. Great Britain has a good amount of infamy from doing this, but our relations are still good. I'm going to see how this develops. I might get offered something, and if I do, I might even go on and step in. France sides with Dynam. Alright, so that's a general European war. On the market of Futatoro. That's interesting. Return Fujian. Interesting. They're going to grab a state in China. Peasant revolt in Tidor. Interesting. Just kind of watching this situation because I don't want to necessarily get involved, but Nah, I can afford to not. I can afford to not involve myself in this. France sides with the Netherlands against Tidor. Against the revolt in Tidor. That's interesting. Marina Kingdom is improving relations. Yeah, seen the way the wind is blowing, huh? I was actually worried. We might be able to get Britain to back down if I aligned myself with Dynam. What would that mean? Change the markets of Furatoro? That wouldn't necessarily affect anything. Where Parisians pay to Dynam. Neither of these things is necessarily in my interest, but again, I don't want Dynam to lose this. You know what? I'm going to sit this one out. I don't need to get involved in this. China and France are both getting into it. What kind of fleets does China have? 99 flotillas. Well, China actually has a decent naval presence. Interesting. I didn't know that. Our entire budget surplus is based on underpaying our bureaucrats. Alright, so that's the escalation into war. I'm going to declare neutrality on that. We'll see how that goes. Looks like the Scandinavian military revolt is actually winning. Johann von Wittelsbach. Wittelsbach, maybe? Not sure. Spain, are you involved in one of these diplomatic plays? Why is there a fiery border between Spain and Kingdom of France? Because Spain is supporting Ait Abbas against France. Oof. Wouldn't have done that if I was you, Spain. Just being honest. Cool. So as I anticipated, with the increase in our number of arts academies, the demand for fine art is going up. So I'm going to go ahead and throw down another set of them in Chubu. And I'm also going to build up... Okay, we got 2 railways under construction in Kansai province right now. So I'm not worried about that. So what else is going on in our market? Groceries are still crazy expensive. What about liquor? We can export more liquor to Burma. And just to make sure, yeah, all of our food industries are fully employed. So let's... Kyushu, you're doing very well for infrastructure. Go ahead and boost up your food industries even more. What else? Still could use more luxury furniture, although regular furniture we're doing pretty okay. Same with clothes. Go ahead and boost up the ones in Chubu. The investment pool is actually quite full, which means I could increase my construction sectors. On the other hand, let's take a quick run at tech, because steel frame buildings is pretty far away at this point. Ooh, nationalism is a good thing to grab. Definitely use nationalism. I can definitely use realism for those arts academies. See, steel frame buildings would let me use steel for construction, and that would make my construction a lot faster. But I've got so many tier 2 techs I need to get before this is even remotely close to being viable to actually research that. Literacy continues to go up, which is good. And Russia is no longer creating a problem with us. Our diplomatic pact's income is continuing to grow. It's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Dutch East Indies is in the French market. Because the Netherlands is in the French market. That's interesting. I'm very curious. Steel is still quite pricey. And wood is much the same. But hardwood is pretty cheap, so we can export some of that. Great Britain, of course, will pay for a huge pile of hardwood. As will Austria and Great Qing. Which means we can go ahead and increase our logging. We don't have any logging in Kanto, but we have logging capacity in Kanto. Let's just go ahead and... Got a lot of unemployment in Kansai, though. Let's go ahead and max out logging in Kansai province. It's going to take some time, but it shouldn't take too much time. That should provide us with all the wood we need, because we are a little short on wood here. Got a lot of whaling stations that are productive, producing a lot of oil. We're actually maxed out, except for Hokkaido, and I don't want to build them in Hokkaido, because Hokkaido has a little bit of a little bit of an everything shortage. Gold mines are finally employing, though. That should be providing us with a little bit of minting. Wish we could get these mines fully productive, though, friends. Dynamite's a good thing to research for that. So we're about to complete a few more rounds of arts academies. And I'm genuinely kind of curious as to how that will affect the art market. Because particularly when you've got a growing market, the more you're producing, the more the market grows. It's one of these funny little animals where the more can be bought, the more will be bought. And what that's going to do is, because this is a substitution good with services here, what that'll do is that'll reduce the demand for services, and it'll reduce it quite substantially as the demand for art goes up, assuming the demand for art goes up, which it very well might. So we got 3 more arts academies in Chubu. Having a hard time hiring. Interesting. I wonder if Chubu doesn't have The universities, it's got 3 levels of universities. 45% qualifications. Maybe let's set a decree to produce extra qualifications here. And maybe that will allow these to start producing. Maybe it's the cost of paper? That's a neat song. The intelligentsia want presidential republic, which I think we can all guess whether or not that'll happen. Art is wildly expensive, so I'm not sure why are we having a paper shortage? I guess we must be. Well, let's get producing a little bit more paper, and we'll produce it right there in Chubu, and that'll hopefully allow the arts academies to keep producing. The academy is productive. Dynam is improving relations. And the market for art continues to increase. So I'm hoping that will just kind of go as it goes. Dynam continues to be uninvaded. But I guess Britain is more interested in focusing on its expansion into China, which is interesting. British Raj is in this same war. They're being invaded by France here. Our finances are doing quite well at this point. I could completely wipe that out to increase government wages, or I could continue to be building up. Do have quite a bit of cash in the investment pool, and that continues to go up, though. So, increasing... That's right, I was looking at increasing my construction sectors. That would put a strain on my iron industry. Let me see. Each of these uses 10 tools, 2 fabric, 40 wood, and 50 iron. So, can I afford that? Wood's going to be a tough part. Iron's doing fine. Tools will be fine. Fabric is probably dirt cheap around here. Yeah. Alright, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and produce another 10 levels of construction industry. And we'll go ahead and we'll give it one more turn to let these 2 buildings finish, and then we'll queue that all the way up to the top. And that should get done in plenty of time. This is going to be a pretty large increase, but I think our economy can afford to sustain it. We're doing pretty well financially, and more importantly, the investment pool should be able to... I think we might move to a strategy where we give the investment pool... we take breaks in construction. How would the Landowners feel if we move to laissez-faire. They would not feel good about it. Okay. What about interventionism, though? They would still not feel good about it, but everyone else would be happier except for the rural folk who would dislike it. On the other hand, we've got a lot of aristocrats, but capitalists contribute so much to that pool. Showing it's still at neutral. That failed petition is going down really, really slowly. I think it's a 9-year turnaround on that. Alright, so as you can see, we've cut our surplus roughly in half. And it's probably continuing to go down. Building up paper mills, logging camps, etc., etc. So that number is going to continue to decrease, but once these have finished hiring more workers, we should be good to go. Or we should be at a level point with our cash balance. There we go. Good. 13k in the black. That's not bad at all. So I think after this we might put a pin in building up and let the investment pool take over developing the economy for a bit. But maybe we'll take another look at our railway situation. How are the Ryukus? The Ryukus could use a little bit of infrastructure. And some jobs, frankly. Chigoku could use a little more. Chubu could use a little more. Kanto and Tohoku. And I think after that, we'll put a pin in construction and just develop a little bit more of a buffer, because that'll put us at about 100k in the positive, and that's pretty good. So what are we currently researching? Alright, we're banging away at improved fertilizer. Although that problem kind of solved itself. Because now we've got a trade route with China where we're selling them a bunch of fertilizer. But we could sell China a bunch of wheat. And that would probably be better. In fact, well, we'll have the capacity to produce a lot more in a minute, once that situation kind of sorts itself out. Lanfang. You're still a tributary of Great Qing. Just like, I want to steal countries. Nice. So Great Britain agreed to pay war reparations to Dainam, but they got to keep Fujian. This is Fujian province, right? I'm not making that up? Yeah. But they got to keep Fujian province out of China. They're taking a bite out of China, which is an interesting situation to be in over here. Okay, so the demand for art continues to increase. And are the arts academies that I built getting employed yet? They're not. Okay, I don't know how to deal with this problem. So we'll just go ahead and continue to expand the ones in Kansai. Because that seems like it's working. I know I just said I was going to dial it back with continuing to build up the economy, but, you know, so that was not right. And that should help my sulfur market. Although my sulfur market's doing okay now, so that should be fine. And basically, the more people you can get in non-subsistence jobs, the better. We're closing in on 50% now of our workforce in non-subsistence jobs, and we're below 250,000 unemployed. So that's pretty okay. Our economy continues to grow at a pretty solid rate. Actually at number 7 globally. Which is a surprise. We're about to pass Austria. And we're closing in on where Russia is. That's wild. See, that's the power of having a sphere of collective prosperity. Is you can just bring everyone together, and everyone can all be prosperous together. And then nobody has to worry about their economy, except for all of these countries that I'm draining 18k money out of collectively. 18k pounds a week out of collectively. Ooh. Protectionist. Interesting. Keep wishing Takachka Mori would die. I can exile him, of course, but I don't desire to do that. Could form a government of the shogunate and the industrialists. That might allow me to do some interesting things. Everyone would be happy if I went to protectionism. I don't know, I've been enjoying free trade so far. The industrialists would not like charity hospitals, but again, I don't know if I can necessarily tolerate the high level of... I don't know if I can necessarily tolerate the amount of population growth, frankly, that would produce. Because my population is still super duper high, and particularly in Kansai, I'm struggling to keep pace with the level of unemployment. Anyway, I think that's an episode. Yeah, I think we're going to put a pin in it for now. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun. And, yeah, I'll see you all on the other side.